Piece of Open, Episode 3, The War Cruiser. Specification of the armed cruiser. Cruisers were distinguished by their mission, not by specific design. Since the 13th century, among them, first, attacking the merchant ships. 2. Supporting the rest of the fleet. 3. Conducting reconnaissance and conducting search and kill missions. Their name comes from crossing the seas. Author Kirby Bonner said, "The destroyer was found to be the eye of the war cruiser by chance, due to the lack of clarity of its size and missions compared to the rest of the fleet. Rather, it was amalgamation of several types of warships. What then were war cruisers famous for? Cruisers were known for their ability to cover vast area of sea, thus exploring and pursuing merchant ship. Naval Commander C.D.R. Martin described the destroyers as the eye of the fleet. They were armed by confront any warship of their size or smaller, and they were also characterized by the speed to escape any larger navy's vessel, especially battleship. Steam propeller navy cruisers. Since 1840, several navies witnesses the introduction of the steam propeller cruiser into ship of the line. Ships with a line of gun on each side. Steam engines were also introduced into battle cruisers experimentally, fearing the risk of using this new technology. In 1850, the expansion of this technology into a warship began due to its increasing reliability. Despite the emergence of this engine, sales were not completely eliminated until 1890, because of the engine were not reliable enough to be fully relied on. With the advent of armored vehicle, the ironclad class, often frigate, were used to compact ships, although their speed could be exploited to make them chase ships. The ship's hull became a mixture of metal and wood, and later steel was used because of its stronger and lighter. The use of steel led to emergence of the Jeune École, young school, in the French Navy to encounter the larger British fleet. The school used two types of naval vessels: torpedo boats to sink battleships, and cruisers which were characterized by their lightness and their light armor to pursue merchant ship. The first cruiser in the U.S. Navy to use steam engine was the cruiser Weber Nogios. However, due to the vibration generated by the steam engine, it was considered a failure project of the U.S. Navy. At the same time, U.S. Navy designer Edward Reeds realized the importance of replacing the ship wood with the iron. The cruiser class emerged during the American Civil War, and the best cruiser that laid on the foundation of the Navy vessels to be called a cruiser was the cruiser Alabama. During the American Civil War, there are two sides, the Union and the Confederacy. The Union was distinguished by its abundance of resource and industry capability, while the Confederates were less so. The Union leaders decided to launch a naval blockade of the Confederates. The plan was called Anaconda. Therefore, the Confederates built a fast naval vessel capable of attacking Union merchant ships by surprising and having the speed necessary to escape the crowds. The cruiser Alabama was an excellent tool for implementing this strategy. It had a sail to enhance its independence. It is reported that the cruiser Alabama was able to sink more than 60 Union ships. The cruiser Alabama was sunk in 1864 by the Union cruiser Casey, which had a better gun and stronger armor. Iron chain were used in this battle to protect the side and the engine from shields. The most important lesson from sinking the cruiser Alabama were to increase the armor of cruisers. For the record, the transition was made from using wood, then iron, and then steel to strengthen the ship hull. The actual use was made by sail, then steam engine, then petroleum. Some even use nuclear engine. As for cannons, they evolved from nozzle-leading guns to bug-loading guns. As for shields, they evolved from circular to shield shapes. You can learn more about evolution of shields by listening to videos Warships, Weapons, Episode 2. Type of cruisers. First, the protection cruisers, which is the name given to a cruiser in which the deck is armored while the hull is armored to protect the ship's sensitive parts. The primary reason for protecting parts of the ships is to maintain lightweight. Its drawback include the lack of an armored belt for the hull to protect the side. Secondly, the armored cruisers. It is a cruiser characterized by armoring the hull and the side. It appeared after emergence of the armored cruisers. The first ship designed on this basis was the Russian ship Admiral, which entered the service in 1873. The battle cruisers is a class that appeared with the famous British battleships dreadnoughts. It was similar in size to the battleships that appeared before the dreadnought, but was a less heavy armored and armory. Slowly, it's become clear that the cruiser had become larger naval vessel than the destroyers and smaller than the battleship in the post-War War I period. In Washington Treaty that signed in 1920, the size of the cruiser was set at 10,000 tons and armed with 8-inch gun. While in London Treaty, the battle took place in 1930, the cruiser was classified into two categories. First, the heavy cruisers, and armed with 8-inch and 6-inch guns. The second category, the light cruiser, which was armed with sub-6-inch gun or 9.24 caliber guns. After World War II, a category is called the missile cruisers emerged, resulting from emergence of sea-to-air, sea-to-sea, and sea-to-land missiles. It is worth noting that the latter are called 9.48 caliber cruiser missiles, which the emergence of the aircraft carriers' capabilities, which eliminate the importance of battleships. A cruiser became the largest naval vessel after the aircraft carriers. In the next videos, we will cover submarines in the 5th episode of Weapons.